All righty, ladies and gentlemen, Lee Cole here, and I got my good friend Shirley Hayes on with me.
Hey
Shirley,
there.
yeah. So, number one, guys, can you let us know whether if you hear us, and you also should be seeing a rather simple graphic on the screen, but can you let us know that? Awesome. Rob, how are you doing, buddy? So, Shirley,
I would sing, Lee, but then I would scare everybody off. Trust me.
you would. Wow. Okay. Well, that puts you and
That
me
would let us
right
know if they can
together.
hear. Really, they all leave.
I'm not allowed to sing or whistle.
I understand your pain. I've been barred from singing for quite some time.
I mean, whistling is, such a stress reliever, right?
Can't do that either.
So, guys, this is going to be an informal chat. Okay. I mean, you do see, a little graphic about a thing that we're launching tomorrow, but that's tomorrow, right? You can read the sales letter tomorrow and all that stuff. My friend Shirley is what would you call yourself? A veteran radio, audio marketing, something or other?
Yes, all of that.
Yeah, yeah. It's
That's my
quite a
thing.
pedigree.
Yeah,
I mean, you were,
No, I just said I eat, sleep, and drink audio.
you were I mean, when you were like in radio, right? You were in like the top markets in the United States.
Yes, I was blessed to work in the biggest radio markets my entire career: Los Angeles, Chicago, San Francisco, and nationally on XM satellite radio.
Well, damn, you must be pretty, hot, what?
Okay, I'll take that.
Well, guys, she's not
Chicago, I
going
lived
to
in Chicago.
admit to that, but I can let you know that she actually is an amazing person.
Uh,
What were you saying about Chicago?
I left Chicago. I don't know how I could have done that, but that's that was the first market. I was born and raised in Chicago, and
Uh-huh.
I was a year there for about 12 years.
You're breaking up slightly. Are you like
How
on
about
on a weird microphone or something?
I am on a mic where I should always stop moving, but I talk with my hands, and so I step away. Something's all over the place. Is this better?
Yes, that is better. So no moving. This seems like radio 101 type stuff to me. Don't talk when you're not like facing the microphone. But
Well, they use a different mic in the studio so that you can be all over the place.
Oh, see there, I know nothing. But
Yeah.
anyway, you transitioned at some point. I mean, the whole radio thing's changing, right? I mean, we have somebody, Rob's just sitting here talking about podcasting, which, I listen to probably an hour worth of podcasts a day. I get an enormous amount of information from those. Um, there's something like half of all US households, there's somebody listening to a podcast, on a daily basis. It's huge.
It really is. And what's really fascinating about that is that podcasting isn't new. It's been out there for over a decade,
Right.
but technology is driving this renewed interest in what you can do with audio because of digital and the internet. So it is just going completely nutso.
Well,
And that's
and yeah, I mean, and a quarter of US households, and this is also, I mean, guys, the percentages may be different, but I mean, it's the same in all across the globe. This stuff's exploding. Quarter of US households have smart speakers. There must
yeah.
be like, I mean, there are 350 million people. So let's say there are 3.5 people in a household. So let's say there are 100 million households. I mean, that's like 25 million freaking smart speakers. That's insane.
It's crazy. And even I just interviewed a guy on my podcast, and he has a company called VoiceForm, and they're doing surveys where their respondents actually respond with their voice. So
Mhm.
this audio stuff is just taking on all kinds of cool ways that we can use audio and voice. It's just amazing.
And then there's Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces. And you sent me an invitation to Clubhouse, and I'm kind of like a, um, reformed alcoholic driving by the liquor store when it comes to Clubhouse. Yeah, I'm just like scared to accept the invitation. I mean, I will at some point. I mean, very soon. But I'm just like scared to accept it because I know I'm just going to dive right in and I'm going to think, oh, holy Jesus, where have you been my whole life?
Well, you know what? I have to tell you, and I warn you,
Oh, you
once you
did?
get in there, especially since you like podcasts, this is you will love the audio only social platforms. You'll be hooked right away.
Yeah, I've
Right?
got another friend who's like, who really needs a 12-step Clubhouse program. And she's like saying, Lee, don't do it. Lee, don't do it.
It sucks you in right there. It really does.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a great
Step one. Yeah,
interest.
step one, I'm powerless over Clubhouse. My life is a mess. But for real, guys, audio is exploding. And of course, that means that audio marketing, and we're not just talking about audio marketing for, large bands. We're not just talking about audio marketing for, Apple or something like that. We're talking about audio marketing for the dentist down the street. We're talking about audio marketing for the small business that runs their entire business through an e-com store. This is really starting to explode, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of those things that kind of evens the playing field, if you will, because the bigger brands or the bigger competitors, whoever they might be, they've got a lot more money to do more things. But with audio marketing and especially the audio bites, now this lets anyone who wants to promote their business or their products or services, whatever it is that they're doing, um, this can be a game changer for them because as we were talking about earlier, audio is so huge, and even with podcasting, I think you and I were talking, maybe I was talking to myself, but these audio bites, you can think of them like tiny little podcasts without
Right.
podcasting, without because it takes a lot of work to run a podcast, and a lot of business owners don't have time for that. They like the idea of being on a podcast, but they have no idea what they're in for. So this kind of is something that they can do and still have that kind of presence without all the drama that's associated with
Okay, I'm going to ask you two questions. Okay.
it.
I want you to tell us, I mean, so the whole audio, to my mind, the whole audio marketing phenomenon or the whole audio phenomenon is very much like video was back in the like 2011 or whenever YouTube started, people started really paying attention to YouTube.
Hmm.
Except frankly, I kind of think that audio in general, which is going to drive various kinds of audio marketing, I kind of think audio in general is going to far surpass video in terms of, let's say, number of hours per day that people globally, experience it.
I would agree with you absolutely. Um, I mean, its method of delivery is something that people are already used to. They've been listening to radio their entire life, so it's not something that's new to them. What's new
Right.
being able to get more content that way. And because audio bites and audio marketing in general allows you to be super, super, super targeted with your audience. So a business owner can really market almost granular because we know where they're listening. And you can use other forms of audio marketing to find
Mhm.
market. This is we're at the let's say we're at the beginning. Seth Godin he likened it to when blogging started. And it's audio
Yeah.
marketing, blogging started right now. Even with all the podcasters, millions of podcasts out there. But we're still at the beginning of this. This is like being on the ground floor, where it's just starting to flex its muscle.
So really, and you and I talked about this, I just want the audience to hear this. What is the big difference between audio and video? Or what are the differences that is driving this explosive growth of audio?
It's definitely the way you engage with it. As great as written content and video are, and they really are great, it requires the user, the reader, or the viewer to engage it 100%. You got to be sitting in front of the content. You either got to read it or you got to watch it. With audio, you can take it wherever you are, and our attention spans are so so short these days, and there's so many things vying for our attention. They can download it on their phone and listen while they're on their way to work, or while they're working out, waiting in line, whatever they're doing. It doesn't interrupt their day. Every time you have to interrupt somebody's day, it's a little bit of an annoyance. Like, I want to watch this, but I don't have time. And before you know it, I don't have time turns into I forgot all about it, and then it never gets engaged. You never absorb it. So with audio, you're on the go. And you mentioned it earlier, listening to podcasts, it doesn't interfere with your day. You can be working on something else. You can be doing something else. We don't have to learn how to listen. Most of us grew up listening to some form of radio, be it online or terrestrial radio, whatever the case may be. So it's not something that we have to learn how to do. We just do it. I mean, look at audiobooks. That's another example.
Mm-hmm.
That's gone through the roof.
Yeah. Did you call it terrestrial radio?
Yes. Well, that
So,
term.
so you're actually from another planet, right?
Well,
I'm just
okay,
messing with you.
out. My secret is out.
There you go. You heard it here first, guys. So yeah, so I listen to, like I said, I listen to a fair amount of podcasts, and I listen to podcasts about a ton of stuff, right? I mean, I've got my like little groups of things that I listen. My daughter listens to, this is amazing to me. My daughter listens to this true crime podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that 5% of all podcast listenership in the world is people listening to true crime?
I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all. I mean,
You know how many billions of hours that must be every year? That's insane.
It makes sense. I'm not surprised.
And then you think about it, you've got YouTube, I think it's called YouTube Live, the one where you pay monthly and no ads, but also you can turn your phone off, right?
Right.
See, that's the difference. That's the difference between YouTube, the free YouTube, and YouTube Live. Now, when you think about it, I mean, I just thought of that this morning. I thought, well, heck, let's just follow the logic. If I'm turning my phone off and still listening, it might as well be audio, right? Because I'm not looking at it by definition. My phone's off.
Exactly.
And YouTube Live is huge.
Yeah, it is.
And people are very willing to pay subscriptions to listen to stuff, right? Entertainment, education.
Oh, absolutely.
This is really, really huge, guys. So let's talk about content marketing. All right. And then we're going to show you how these two ideas come together and show you how we've made this easy for you. I mean, Shirley has well, she's from a different planet, granted, but she has decades of experience. That's one thing. And Shirley, I'm too old to get another decades of experience in anything.
Well, what they're doing with things these days, Lee, you could
Yeah,
be around.
I'm going to be around for a while. I'm very healthy. But, let's talk about content marketing, because I know you do a lot of that for your clients. Can you tell me, like, and everybody knows what it should mean, but can you tell me from your point of view, as you're a podcaster, you're an audio marketer. I mean, from your point of view, tell me about okay, Lee's going to rewind. Remember when cassettes used to do that? But anyway, tell me about I forgot what the hell I was talking about. But anyway,
Content.
God, thank you so much. I was too busy trying to be funny. But anyway, tell me about content marketing.
Um, well, from my point of view, it really depends on the strategy and what the client is trying to achieve. But in my world, content marketing is putting out content that is relevant to the target market that my client is trying to reach. And in most cases, that can vary from, it might be video, it might be written. In my world, it's mainly, it's mostly audio, but depending on who you are and what you're doing, it might also include video and written content as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And so basically, I mean, when you think of content marketing, guys, I mean, if without including audio, you basically got three types of media going. You've got written media, right? You've got images, that's, Pinterest, memes, stuff like that. And then you've got videos. And then along comes very recently audio specifically designed for content marketing. Shirley, I know you do a lot of that. You create for your clients these, they're not necessarily snippets, they could be long or short, but they're basically units of content, just like a blog post is a unit of content, or a YouTube video is a unit of content. But you create these units of content for your clients, which are called audio bites. Can you tell us a little bit about those, how they work and all that?
Your description of calling it a snippet was actually right on point. That works too. Excuse me, at the clock there. Yeah, audio bites are the thing that makes audio bites work so well for my clients is that it's not over the top. It is simply meaty content that's created with that client, and it's not a Hollywood production. It's not, you don't need a lot of bells and whistles. Some clients have more than others, depending on what that client does and what their goals are. But it's basically just recording their expertise. Is basically what I do, and then I take that expertise and we make it into a little small piece of audio, because we have to keep in mind that the attention spans are very, very. The last thing I read, it's down to 2.5 seconds. So about 2 seconds.
Right. In other words, there's no hope for the human race. But anyway, continue.
We're done. You get about 2 seconds to get their attention, because we're being bombarded with so many things from video. Everybody wants our attention. It's very, very loud. And no pun intended there, it just really is. So the one thing, and I saw some research on this the other day, people they're starting to want their content in smaller bites, and they want just what they want. They want just what they need. They don't want all
That
the
makes
other
total sense. Yeah.
And with audio, you pretty much have nowhere to go but to that thing. You can create that thing because it's just audio. Having a conversation with your client and taking their expertise and putting it into a 60-second audio file, for instance. That doesn't seem like that's a lot of time, but I come from radio, and trust me, 60 seconds, you can get a lot done in 60 seconds. You can get a lot done in 30 seconds, but 60 seconds is about that time point where it just works. It's just enough and not too much. Hopefully I answered your question.
Now, yeah. Now, and guys, if you have any questions for Shirley, just have at it. Rob's got a question. Rob, I saw that. Well, that's a great question. We'll get to that in a sec. Shirley, so you said basically, you are using the expertise of your clients. So a divorce attorney obviously has expertise in divorce law in the state where they're in. An orthodontist has expertise. Lawn company has expertise, and And you know, folks, when we build websites for people like this, it makes total sense to, you know, talk, and I've done this like for years, you know, talk to the client, get them to give me some information about just general stuff, you know, how things work, blah, blah, blah. And you know, you put that as articles like on their blog or their website. So Shirley, you're talking about doing the same thing, but through audio, right?
Exactly. So, you know, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're just putting that
No,
with.
you're just keeping you know, instead of the wheel running a wagon, you're making the wheel run a, you know, Mercedes Benz or something that somebody
Tesla.
wants to drive nowadays.
Tesla. Tesla.
Okay, I got another one for you. You know this is close to my heart.
Okay.
Tell us about the psychological connection between a listener and a speaker as opposed to somebody reading text or even somebody looking at a video.
There's something about the connection of the human voice that is different from anything. You don't have to see another human being to be engaged with them psychologically or emotionally. When you hear their voice, there's just this instant connection. It's just the way we've been wired since birth. But the first voice we tend to recognize is our mother's voice. And every time you ever watch a kid, watch a baby when he hears its mother's voice, even before they can speak, they hear that voice and they perk up their eyes because they recognize that voice. That communication between humans is just something that you can't replicate, even with a video. I think we're very visual, we know that, but there's something about audio because your brain is going to look for pictures anyway, whether you're looking at a video or not. If you're having a conversation with someone on the phone, for instance, what happens when you're having a conversation? You're talking to them, and you are, whether you realize it or not, you're visualizing pictures as those words are being spoken to you. I can tell you from radio, I could be, you know, somewhere doing maybe doing an appearance, and before it's time for me to go on stage or something, I would be off to the side talking to someone, and someone who had never seen me in person would say, "I know you. I recognize your voice." And not because I'm a radio person, but more because there's this connection. And even in radio, you have to make a connection to that listening audience. And for me, um, speaking to them, you speak to them in a conversational tone. You can do that with audio bites too. Um, that also helps to make that connection. So when people hear audio, their brain can't do anything but sit there, not only listen, but it's creating the pictures that it needs. So even when there's no video, your brain is going to create pictures anyway. If I
Yeah,
tell you, you know, if I
go ahead.
tell you don't see the pink elephant on the white picket fence, well, you just saw that because
Right.
your brain has to make that picture. So um, you don't have to get caught up on, well, it's got a video is better. I don't think one or the other is necessarily better, except in the way that you can get the content.
Yeah,
Audio
I
is
don't, I,
non-intrusive.
exactly. I mean, video, you actually have, like we said, you have to actually sit there and look at it. Uh, Two things. One, you remember Periscope a few years ago?
Oh yeah. Yep.
I just got on the Periscope bandwagon and rapidly built up a bunch of followers and stuff like that. I mean, you know, Periscope didn't really last, but you know, I mean, I guess it's still there, but it didn't really last as a worthwhile use of time. And then, like about 2 years after that, I was in Whole Foods at their hot food bar, just you know, getting some food. And my son was with me, and I was talking to my son. This guy just out of the blue walks up and says, "Excuse me, are you Lee Cole?" I say, "Yeah." And he says, I recognized your voice. And I'm thinking, wow, that's weird. And I said, where? And he said,
Very.
Periscope. And it made total sense.
Yeah.
Um, I really think that, I don't know, you know, before I got to know you and before I started learning about, you know, audio and the world of audio marketing, I took it for granted that the big connection that we have to people that we're following and stuff like that, whether it's a marketer or, you know, God forbid, a politician or whatever, you know, that big connection through video, when you're looking at video, I just assumed it was through the picture.
Mhm.
Uh, But when you really, really think about it, it's through the voice. You know, and guys,
Exactly.
you can do this. I mean, you can. I mean, if you want to, if you want an experiment, you can go to YouTube, um, turn the phone around so you can't see the picture, listen to the voice, and then run the same video again. Turn the sound off and look at the video and figure out, well, which one gave me more content, which one told me more, especially which one did I have more of an emotional connection with.
And if you remember, it was in another webinar we did a while back, and I challenged everyone to kind of do the same thing, to go onto YouTube and find one of those old soap opera radio stories,
Mm-hmm.
and just close your eyes and listen. And the connection that you have listening to that is amazing.
Wow. Yeah. You know, that's really, really true. And when you think about it, some of the biggest icons in, um, you know, the American culture and because of that world culture came out of those old radio shows.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody was looking at anything. You couldn't. It was just the radio.
Absolutely.
So,
But
folks,
yet they tuned in every day and sat around the radios listening.
exactly, exactly. So, guys, there's an explosion of not only audio, but swept up in this. There's an explosion of audio marketing, and we've just touched on. I mean, it's like we were flying over, you know, over a continent, you know, 30,000 feet. We just touched on a few little things. I mean, you've got Clubhouse. If y'all are familiar with that, you got a ton of stuff. This is a huge wave that is happening right now. You guys are in the world of marketing. You want to help businesses or just maybe help yourself through intelligent cutting edge marketing, and audio marketing is the place to be. Shirley came to me about a couple of months ago with the idea of coming up with a simple but powerful training product plus some other stuff that comes with it that would give you guys exactly what you need to get into the audio marketing world. Now, the technology is minimal, frankly, because I mean, it's, you know, you can do this. Hang on, Olive, we'll get to that. Nice to see you, Olive. The technology is minimal. I mean, oddly enough, it's totally technological, but you know, it's like YouTube. Who cannot do a YouTube video and upload it to YouTube, except you don't have to put on your makeup. You know, the technology is minimal. And frankly, I mean, now is the time. Now is the time for you guys to start understanding what we're giving you is a simple audio-based product that you can sell to your clients, and it is going to have a huge effect on your client's bottom line. Absolutely huge. And furthermore, it's going to position you. You know, you're not just sitting around talking about the stuff that people talked about 5 years ago, 3 years ago. You're talking about the stuff that everybody knows is really cool and help, which is audio, and that positions you as not only a smart marketer, but as a thought leader in your, you know, in your client's world. So we're launching a product tomorrow. It's going to launch at the normal 11 a.m. Eastern time. It's called Audio Marketing Riches. I'm sitting here looking at the sales letter right here. It basically covers everything you need to know. Shirley is a wonderful teacher. It covers everything you need to know in order to, and we're not talking about just getting a taste of this. Rob just said, I never thought about offering audio services to local clients. I'd like to know more. Well, Rob, this is where you're going to learn more. We're not just like giving you a taste. We're actually showing you exactly how Shirley sells a particular type of audio product to her clients. It's called an audio bite, and it is a snippet, maybe longer, of audio. It's a piece of content in audio form. Shirley, I think you sell like to some clients, you know, 10 little audio bites for about $500. Is that right?
500 and up.
500 and up. It's a great way to get new clients. It is a great, if you've already got clients, this is a fabulous thing to go back to them and say, you know, here's a new thing. You know they're listening to podcasts, guys. Okay, you may not be listening to podcasts, but you know they are. You know, here's a new thing. It's leveraging the whole audio thing, blah, blah, blah. We're going to show you all how to do that, how to get clients, how to create audio bites, the whole 9 yards. Shirley's got this whole thing templatized, and it's really, really cool, and it's launching tomorrow. So, but you know, I don't want to bore you with all. I mean, not that it's boring; it's extremely exciting. But I don't want to like hit you over the head with all the details. You know, I really wanted this webinar to be introducing the concept. We got some cool questions here.
Okay.
Olive, who is from the UK and one of my coaching students, and just a wonderful person, says, "What does Shirley think about Spotify as an advertising platform, and do you use it?"
That's a great question, Olive. And thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Spotify is one of those platforms as far as advertising that is proving to be a major asset for business owners. I have a friend that actually does voices for Spotify, does some of the commercials. And I have some other podcaster friends who actually use Spotify to buy ads. And the reason it is a great platform for that is because with podcasts, you can be so targeted. I mean, targeting the audience with podcasts is just ridiculous. And so it's turning out that it's a fantastic platform for running ads. I can't say anything negative about it at all.
Yeah, Wayne, just to answer your question real fast, there is a replay. I should have this up and I'll just mail it out to everybody, you know, who's interested in this webinar probably later today, unless I get hit by a meteor or a falling Chinese rocket in the meantime. Okay, but it should be later on today.
It is falling. Is that today?
Well, I think it fell, thank God. I think it fell.
All right,
It hit the Indian Ocean. I mean, it's okay. We're just destroying more of the planet. John has a question. What are the ideal, oh, this is, I love this. What are the ideal business niches for audio bites?
Ooh, nope. Gosh, there are so many. Of course, if you want to do the top tier ones, in my opinion, you have lawyers. And why do I say lawyers? Because some of them are litigators and they have to know how to speak for a living. And they tend to have a lot of content they like to put out there. So pretty much your professional services sector, they're going to be great targets. Also coaches, business coaches, life coaches, professional speakers, authors, all of those professions can really, really benefit from audio marketing. But don't forget about your local businesses too. You might be thinking, well, this won't be good for restaurants. But think of it this way. Restaurants, they run commercials on radio to sell, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine if a restaurant, and they're usually pretty involved in their social media. Imagine if you have audio bites for them, and it doesn't have to be today that we've got a sale on pizza for $5.99. Think of it this way: every business, even a restaurant, has a story to tell. And your job as a creator of these audio bites is to tell that story for that or with that customer, in this case, for example, a restaurant, in 1 minute. And in the live training, just want to mention this, in the live training, I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, how do you get that meaty content from your customer? So basically, audio bites is something that can work for almost any profession. And it's just a matter of how you create the content. You have to kind of step back and remember that it's not video, because we all think, okay, well, you think of a very visual business and this couldn't possibly work with audio. It can. You just have to know how to get there. And I'm going to show you that in the live training.
Yeah, this product's a mixture of live training. That's why I scrolled down here. This product's a mixture of live training, The next one's really cool. And Shirley, given your incredibly busy schedule, this is really, really sweet of you to offer this to these guys. 2 office hour sessions on Zoom, which will come the day after the live training. And y'all can read all this tomorrow. I mean, we go into exactly what's here. There's 16 videos in the video course. You also have a ton of other stuff. Marketing materials that you need to get clients, templates, 25 blog style articles, graphic memes, just a massive ton of stuff. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about a friend of mine who owns a restaurant and thank God made it through the COVID year, right? And he's got his restaurant. He owns several restaurants, and is the manager of a few of the restaurants, also a friend of mine. And I was thinking, when I'm eating there and Chad comes over and I ask him, like he used to ask me, well, what would you like to see on as a special next week, and because I ate there a lot. And actually, I'm pretty sure I bought the owner's house for him. But anyway, I mean, we would just like discuss food, and the way that he would talk about food, right, was just like really, really interesting. I mean, the guy, went to culinary school and all that. You could take a guy like that and you could easily just sit there and say, let's talk about this dish, how you made it, what, how you came up with a mixture of flavors and all this stuff. That would be totally fascinating.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Ron, yeah, we did the audiogram thing last year. Now, guys, an audiogram is when you take essentially what we call an audio bite. In other words, a piece of audio, and you put that together with a static picture. Okay, so yeah, this is that, but and it's not a but. That was a wonderful product. That particular product, Ron and everybody else, was aimed at helping businesses deal with the whole COVID thing, because that was last summer. It's the same thing, same Shirley Hayes, except this product here is more applicable to all kinds of marketplaces. It's not just focused on a world that's, just been bombarded by COVID. John's got a great follow-up question. And guys, I know there's some more questions. So, I'm not trying to ignore you. I'm just not getting there yet. What are the most cost-effective ways of promoting a local business audio bite? In other words, so Shirley, you got a client. Let's say you made 5 or 10 audio bites for them. And I know you've actually got you've got some information, folks, when you buy this, a PDF that you can actually send to your client to show them how to do this. But Shirley, what would you do with the audio bite, besides put it on their website?
Every strategy that I use with my clients has to do with social media. And, we know about the regular players, but there are so many other platforms out there outside of Facebook and LinkedIn, that we and Instagram. Those are great platforms. You can certainly be on those platforms, but you also want to look at other platforms that are going to be more beneficial for your client, who that client is and their target market. There are other ways online, social media wise, that people don't really think about, where you can find new clients and where you can promote for your clients. In this case, as Lee mentioned, I've created a PDF that you can give your customer, and it'll show them where they can place their content, where they can upload it, and how to do that. And of course, who knows? Maybe they'll hire you to do it.
Yeah, very, very cool. Guys, just to be totally transparent, and with the caveat that Lee is still tweaking all of this stuff, they're just 2 OTOs, okay? And both of them are as affordable as the front end. There's this OTO. This one, I think, Shirley, just, when I started reading our Google Doc, and, I mean, me, I'm just sitting around flying by the seat of my pants anyway. And I'm like really getting into it. I thought, holy crap, this is really, really cool. Because this is the first OTO. It gets into advanced done for you marketing assets. Now, Ron, you mentioned audiograms. Shirley's also giving you a series of 6 audiograms. So guys, this is an audiogram. If I click this, Oh, for God's sake. My Siri on my phone just turned on. But anyway, if I click this, it's going to pull up the static image with a little buzzy-like thing at the bottom that's, the voice waveform, and it's an advertisement. So these are advertisements for you that are done by Shirley and her team. This is professional quality stuff. That's cool, but this right here, to my mind, is just even cooler. How to use advanced AI, artificial intelligence, to create marketing content for your clients. Shirley,
Yeah.
that I think is like, I mean, that just makes me want to just like, wallow on the floor and cry and just have a, craziness. That's just like so in the moment. I've been learning a lot about AI lately. Can you tell us about what's happening here?
Oh, man, that's probably wow.
Man is exactly what it is.
Artificial intelligence, the AI stuff is actually a part of audio marketing. It's a big part of it. A lot of people don't really think of it like that, but from Siri to Alexa to just creating content using AI voices is all a part of audio marketing. And it doesn't stop there. There is so much more going on with AI. It's almost scary. It's just one of those things that it allows you to be a little bit more flexible. Maybe you may have a client that just doesn't want to record their voice, but they like the idea, they like the concept. So this is a way for you to offer them an alternative.
Or you might have a client who's just got a massive ton of content out there. There's a world of them.
That's a good point.
People who've written articles, right? I mean, whether they're online or whether they're scholarly articles or whatever. People who've been blogging for a while, et cetera, et cetera. E-com businesses who have a lot of information about each product that they're selling. And so, folks, it's not like you're going to have to get a human being to sit down there and very expensively talk. You're going to do it through an extremely inexpensive AI interface. Now, for those of you, because I was in this camp, Shirley, like, a year ago before I started really learning about it, all this AI stuff, and I heard about AI voices, and I thought, AI voices are going to sound like this. They're just going to sound like things that are reprogrammed to make this right thing when the right word comes up, like totally stupid, like very mechanical. These aren't mechanical at all.
Yeah, the technology just keeps getting better and better and better. We're not
I mean,
they're fully humans, but they're getting there.
I don't know. I don't know. To a casual listener nowadays, I think it's indistinguishable.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe to your ear. I mean, you have a professional ear, right? I have a non-professional. Maybe to your ear, you can pick it out. Are these? I forgot. Are these audiograms? Do these have AI voices?
They are all AI.
Guys, tomorrow, I want you to go to this page, whether you buy this or not. I want you to buy it because it's just freaking cool. But listen to this voice. You want to know something funny, Shirley? You know how you and I have been talking about podcasting, and that's another thing that I'm trying to hold myself back from doing. And you said, oh no, Lee, you really need to jump in, man. It's really, really cool, and you'll do great, and blah, blah, blah. And it was so funny because you sent me these earlier today, these files, and I'm, put them up here, and then I'm listening to them to make sure, they're the right files and all this stuff. And I'm listening to this guy's voice, right? And I'm thinking, wow, man, that is a really professional voice. Good on Shirley getting a real pro to do these things. And I thought, maybe if I really get into podcasting and stuff, maybe someday my voice will sound that good. And then it hit me like 3 hours later. Holy crap, that was AI. No joke, guys. No joke. I was completely astounded.
Yeah, they're pretty good. And they just keep getting better and better and better.
This is huge because leveraging content, or you want to be careful with copyright. I'm not saying that, but for content, there's a world of content out there that is either in the Creative Commons sphere. In other words, it's okay for you to use it, or it's lapsed copyright. Okay, you can take that and use
Oh,
that. I mean, there's just a world of stuff. And hint, hint, this is one of the many ways to turn your clients into a monthly subscription.
absolutely.
And then you tell these people, honestly, this is the first upsell, guys, and it's not expensive and all that, but it's just amazing. Then, Shirley, you tell these people how to use Clubhouse, Twitter Spaces, and all of these audio-only networks that are rapidly coming online. I think there are like 10 of them developing at the moment or something like that. You tell them how to go in there and get clients, right?
It's like a wild, wild west right now in social audio, which means it's the perfect time to jump right in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. John, absolutely. Yeah. John says he heard Microsoft AI voice is phenomenally realistic. Guys, I missed the boat. Okay. I really should have just, I have to upload it to the webinar, a video before the webinar happens. Otherwise, I just tell you to hold on a minute. Let's just do it right now. But I should have done that. Guys, tomorrow, just go listen to this. Rob, that's really cool. Rob said, would this work well for the veterinary niche?
Oh,
What do you
absolutely.
think?
Once again, was it Rob?
Rob.
It's a matter of finding that story for that client. Even as a vet, think about it. If you were someone, that's about our pets, our cats and our dogs. So we always want to know the latest, this, that, and the other about their health, usually. Well, you could do, a whole series around keeping your pet healthy.
You could do an audio bite newsletter.
Oh, absolutely. When we get into the live training, guys, we're going to talk about all these different things, especially in this particular one.
Rob, I think Rob's mind is now blown. He's like that Jackie Chan meme, when he's looking all crazy and his hands are up by his head, saying, mind blown. Rob said, oh my God, pet rescue stories. Oh, Rob, you've been on a lot of webinars with me. You know what a softie I am when it comes to pets and animals. Oh my God, that would be incredible, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. There's so many things you could do. You kind of have to step out of your box, because so many of us are trained to, if it's video, if there's something that people do that you see all the time, then it can only be on video, and that's just not the case.
Well, you know something, people really use YouTube for some of it's music, okay? I use YouTube kind of like it's a cross between learning and entertainment, edutainment. Let's just call it edutainment, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think that makes total sense to me. Rob, what about this, buddy? Go to a vet and say, because in any profession, Shirley, when you're dealing with the public, most of the questions people are asking you, 97 or 8% of them are exactly the same over and over again, because
Absolutely.
we all have the same problems, right?
Yep. You just think we're the only ones with the problem.
Yeah. I mean, your dog vomited on the floor, your cat's, not eating, your bunny rabbit's doing whatever, right? And it's, with things like that, I mean, it's probably going to be, they probably got a top 3 or 4 most common problem thing,
Absolutely.
Rob, what if you got your client, your veterinary client or clients, what if you got them to, what if you worked with them to create audio bites? They pop that up on their website. People can go to the website, click here for information about what to do with your cat when it's doing X, Y, and Z. They go to there and they listen to it, right? And they're going to get so much more out of listening to that same information as an audio bite psychologically than they will reading it. Also, quite frankly, I mean, you know, surely I'm fundamentally a writer in my life, but it is so much easier through speech to impart a lot of information along with nuance than it is through writing.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Rob says Google search is a gold mine of ideas. Guys, the last like 14 million comments have been from Rob. So I think he has just seen, you know, the heavens opened up and the angels started singing, which is really cool, Rob. That's why I wanted to do the webinar, because this is amazingly cool. Never thought about audio bites. It's all new to me. It's new to virtually everybody. Is this a widget? No. This is not a widget. Look, I can't play it, guys. Okay. There's a ton of places to put them and ways to put them in various places. Although I will say, Rob, when you said widget, I just thought Lee should create some more software.
Yes.
Okay, so in the sales letter, okay, because I mean we're talking about audio, right? So me just writing a bunch of stuff and y'all reading it, that's not really walking the talk, right? So I said, want an example of that? Play this next audio bite. So this right here, this is not the only, this is a use of an audio bite. You play this, you hear a 4-minute thing with me talking about audio bites. Rob, how do you get the audio bite on the client's website? Well, it's going to be according to how the website is created. This particular website builder that I have here is Optimize Press 3. Any modern thing, right? You know, Thrive, Optimize Press 3, or I mean, you can even do it through HTML, but I don't know how to do it. My son would. But these all have like, you know, little things that you drag over and then you put in the audio file and then it takes care of all the details for you.
It's really easy.
Oh, you just, and in terms of social media, guys, I mean, literally just upload it to Facebook, upload it to Twitter, upload it to wherever, right?
That's it.
Yeah. Olive says it'd be great for nonprofits. They have a lot of stories. Wow,
Oh,
I didn't even think of that.
good, Olive. Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So folks, here's the deal. This is launching, one more quick thing before I wrap it up. If you want Shirley to coach you, now this is group coaching, okay? Those of you who are, you know, I've got some coaching students on here. I've got some people who've been through coaching, group coaching classes with me. It's that kind of thing. This is basically 3 webinar-based classes. Shirley walks you through the whole thing. This is the second OTO. There are only 2 OTOs, okay? The first one I showed you has the AI stuff and all that other cool stuff. The second one tells you about automation, outsourcing, what platforms to choose. You get the inside skinny from a real pro about equipment, et cetera, et cetera. That's what's on this page. So that's what's coming your way tomorrow. Shirley, I really appreciate your time. I know we've kept you on here an hour, and I
Oh, no.
really appreciate that.
I love this, and I'm excited because I love just helping people do their thing, whatever that thing is. And for this, it happens to be audio and something I'm passionate about. But I really, really do enjoy helping people go to that next step and do what they want to do. So I'm very excited.
Very, very cool. Guys, do we have any last minute pressing questions that somebody would, you know, needs to ask, would like to ask before we wrap it up? And I will have a replay, which I'll mail out to everybody. You know, give me 2, 3, 4 hours, something like that. Well, cool beans. Shirley, thank you so much. Again, I really appreciate your time. Guys, thank you so much for being on the webinar. And those of you who are listening to the webinar, 11 a.m. tomorrow, James. It'll be 11 a.m. Eastern time. And James, I'm assuming you're on my list, although people do make their way to my webinars who aren't on my list. But if you're on my list, you will get notified of that. And yeah, I'll mail you, you know, when we launch and all that stuff. And you know, I've done a lot of products. I mean, this is literally for me. I mean, the really the most. This may be the, you know. Okay, I'm just going to say it. This is like the most exciting thing I've ever done. You know, I mean, you've got coaching, you've got AI, you know, you've got all these new, social audio only social media platforms, Clubhouse, you've got the audio bites, you got all this stuff. I mean, this is like, thank you, Shirley, because you're basically opening up a door into an entirely new world for these guys. And I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be great.
Thank you so much, guys. We will talk to you very, very soon.
Bye, guys.